Alrighty, so welcome back, folks. Going to jump right into our divisional standings, where they stand right now, and then where they stand for the Kelly Cup playoffs that are going to be upcoming here in a couple of weeks, starting in the middle of April. Going to start with the ECHL's North Division, and again, where those teams stand, what the playoff matchups currently are, and what I think those playoff matchups will be at the end of the regular season. So with that being said, we're also going to just jump right in, and as we get along a little bit further, we're going to look at what happened last week for all 7 teams in the North Division, as well as what those 7 teams have coming up for their schedules this week, as well as for the amount of games they have on the rest of the season. So for this week, we do have 43 games on the ECHL schedule for this week. That is 4 more games than we had last week on both Friday and Saturday. All 28 teams will be in action on Friday and Saturday. Sunday, a little bit heavier of a schedule coming up with 8 games on Sunday. No games today, no games tomorrow, and then on Wednesday we will have 5 games, and then just 2 games coming up on Thursday before we have our full slates on Friday and Saturday nights. So with that being said, we're going to jump right in, look at our ECHL North Division standings. As I mentioned, we're going to start with the Newfoundland Growlers. The Growlers, with 2 wins last week, 1 regulation loss last week in their 3 games, scoring 8 goals and allowing 6 in their trip down to Florida. Magic number is currently 3 for the Growlers to eliminate the Maine Mariners, and then 5 to eliminate the Reading Royals, and that would clinch the division for the Growlers. They have currently already clinched a spot in the Kelly Cup playoffs. Newfoundland this week is going to be on the road for 3 games. They will be in Norfolk on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And so, with the Newfoundland playing 3 games, they can eliminate Maine right off the bat with those 3 victories. And then the Reading Royals have 4 games this week. Reading will be at home against Adirondack on Wednesday before hosting Trois-Rivières on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So, with Reading playing 4 games and with Reading playing 4, the Maine Mariners playing 3 games. They host Tulsa on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And with Newfoundland playing 3 games, Newfoundland can clinch the division this week. And again, with them being on the road at Norfolk, Norfolk has not been great at home so far this year. The Admirals are just 10, 19, and 2 at home, while Newfoundland has put together a 19, 11, and 1 record away from home this year. So look for Newfoundland to clinch the North Division this week, as I mentioned. If Reading slips up at all, and then Newfoundland's able to win all 3 of their games, then it's very likely that you will see the Growlers clinch the ECHL's North Division this week. The Reading Royals had a pretty good week for themselves as well, winning 2 games in regulation, losing 1 in regulation, winning in Toledo before losing 1 game in Wheeling and winning a game in Wheeling. They scored 14 goals and allowed 11 on their week. Their magic number to eliminate Worcester is 3, or Adirondack, excuse me, that number is 3. To eliminate the Thunder, that magic number to eliminate the Worcester Railers, that number is 2. And then to eliminate the Maine Mariners and clinch that second spot, that magic number is 8. And let's see, with Adirondack here, they are currently +8 on the tiebreaker there, and Adirondack still with 9 games left on their schedule, so they have not been able to get that one quite yet. Oh, excuse me. But they are +8 on Worcester. And again, that magic number, so again, with that tiebreaker, Worcester can't catch Reading with that tiebreaker, so they would have to just surpass the Royals outright. But Reading's magic number is 3. And as I mentioned before, the Royals have 4 games this week, all at home. 1 against Adirondack, and then 3 against Trois-Rivières. So the Royals have a very good chance of clinching at least a playoff berth this week. Very likely you will see the Royals do that with Adirondack coming in. The Thunder on the year are 9-16, 4-1 on the road, and then Trois-Rivières at 9-19, 0-0 on the road. That's the worst record in the North Division and the 3rd worst record on the road in the ECHL this year. The only 2 teams that have fewer points on the road are the Tulsa Oilers at 6-19 and 4, and the Iowa Heartlanders at 4-20 and 7. So very, very good opportunity for Reading to take advantage of that home ice. The Royals this year are 19-10 at home so far this season. So again, very likely that you will see at least Reading clinch a playoff berth this week with the Royals schedule. The Maine Mariners are next up on our list. Maine last week had 3 wins, 1 regulation loss, scored 14 goals while allowing 12. They won 1 game in Orlando and then won 2 out of 3 in South Carolina. So that was pretty good for the Mariners over the weekend to make a statement. Very, very much making a statement. They did allow those 7 goals on Saturday, but being able to win in overtime and then actually, it was not in overtime. I apologize about that. But again, being able to get that win against South Carolina on the road, that's pretty impressive thing to do. So the Mariners again went 3-1 last week. Right now, their magic number is 4 to eliminate both Worcester and Adirondack, and that would clinch a playoff spot for the Maine Mariners. Maine this week has 3 home games against the Tulsa Oilers on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Outside of, the travel is absolutely brutal for Tulsa to have to go from central Oklahoma all the way up to Portland, Maine. That's a very, very long drive, a very, very long trip for the Oilers. So that's tough for them. Again, just the travel itself is hard, and then Tulsa is one of the worst road teams, as I mentioned before, the second worst road team in the ECHL this season, with only the Iowa Heartlanders being worse on the road. So that's something to look out for there. Adirondack is in Reading on Wednesday, and then Worcester on Friday and Saturday. So with the Thunder having 3 games, and then Worcester having 3 games as well. They will host Trois-Rivières on Wednesday, and then Adirondack on the weekend for 2 games. But with Maine playing those 3 games, and then Adirondack and Worcester playing those 3 games, you might see the Maine Mariners as well clinch a playoff spot. Worcester did not have a good week. That's who we're going to go over next. The Railers were 0-3, scoring just 1 goal in all 3 games, allowing 3, 4, and 2 respectively against the Adirondack Thunder, who are trying to track them down. And as of right now, the Thunder are just 3 points back of the Railers, and Adirondack does have 2 games in hand on Worcester, so that's going to be something you absolutely want to watch out for. Their magic number is 2 to eliminate the Trois-Rivières Lions, and then their magic number remains at 8 to eliminate the Thunder. Again, Worcester with the 3 games against Trois-Rivières, Adirondack, and Adirondack. And then the Adirondack Thunder had a really good week, going 3-0-0 with, again, 3 victories against the Worcester Railers, and with those 2 games in hand, the Thunder are looking like they might be able to sneak into the playoffs. Excuse me. And their magic number is actually 3 to eliminate the Trois-Rivières Lions, so it's possible that Trois-Rivières could be eliminated from playoff contention this week. I know Trois-Rivières has a tough schedule. We're going to go ahead and look at Adirondack, their schedule this week. Again, at Reading on Wednesday, and then Worcester on Friday and Saturday. So the Thunder with their 3 games, they should be able to eliminate Trois-Rivières this week. The Lions were not that great against Norfolk, scoring just 9 goals and allowing 6, losing 2-1, then winning 5-0, and then losing 4-3 in overtime. So they went 1-1-1 on the week. The Lions, their magic number to not finish in last place is 4 to, again, eliminate the Norfolk Admirals, and then Trois-Rivières at Worcester, at Reading. So with that being said, it looks like Trois-Rivières is probably not going to make the postseason again. And then the Norfolk Admirals did have a good week last week, scoring 6 goals, allowing 9, winning 2-1, and then losing 5-0 and winning 4-3 in overtime for their 4th overtime victory of the year. And then they got 2 wins, so they go 2-1. 1841. Yeah, so 2-1 with 1 overtime win, 1 regulation win, and 1 regulation loss. So yeah, the Admirals going 2-1 last week, and then the Admirals this week will host Newfoundland on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for a 3-game set. So as of right now, with how the standings are, it would be the Newfoundland Growlers taking on the Worcester Railers, and then the Reading Royals and the Maine Mariners would be your Central Division, or your North Division, excuse me, your ECHL North Division playoffs as they stand right now. I have to believe that the top 3 teams are absolutely going to be the 3 teams that are in the playoffs with Newfoundland, Reading, and Maine. Adirondack is definitely making things interesting. Chasing down Worcester. We're going to see this week whether or not Worcester's able to put a little bit of space between themselves and the Thunder. If they can beat the Thunder in both of their games this week, then I think that that's going to go a long way towards clinching that last playoff spot for the Railers. So that's really something that I'm going to be watching in terms of the North Division. That's really what I'm watching more than anything. I think that Newfoundland's going to clinch before too long. Again, possibly this week, probably next, considering how easy Reading's schedule is. But the fact that Newfoundland has 3 games on the road against the Norfolk Admirals, I really believe that they're at least going to make sure that Maine is unable to win the division. So after this week, we should probably see Newfoundland clinch one of those top 2 spots and get at least home ice in that first round of the North Division playoffs. But like I said, those are the 3 almost guaranteed ends, with Reading again possibly being able to clinch this week as well. So probably see Reading clinch a playoff spot, and then Newfoundland might be able to clinch the division, and then it's possible for even Maine to clinch a playoff spot this week if Worcester can beat Adirondack in regulation in any of those 3 games. And again, with what Maine's schedule is, I expect Maine to come away with 3 wins this week as well. So that's what I think about the ECHL's North Division and what happened last week, as well as what's coming up next week. So stay tuned. Our next video is going to be talking about the ECHL South Division. It's always crazy in the ECHL South Division. We'll look at what the schedules are for this upcoming week and what happened last week for those teams. So stay tuned, folks.